7th degree black belt is not just purely about Texas Hold'em strategy. In fact, it has nothing to do with Texas Hold'em strategy. I am, in addition to being a poker player, I'm a businessman. I want to talk about investing your windfalls. If you're a 7th degree black belt, basically, you've already won a lot of money, okay? And now what are you going to do with that money? Well, let me tell you something. From 1987 to 1998 or so, I made all kinds of bad investments. I put all my money into one stock, Grand Casinos. You know, I mean, Lyle Berman thought it was going to move. Lyle's a friend of mine. He was a CEO. He wasn't doing anything wrong or illegal. And I bought a ton of it. I put every penny, $350,000, all the cash I had, into Grand Casinos. And it looked pretty good as it moved from 32 to 33. Then it hit 30. Then it hit 25. And then I started selling because I had bought on margin. I had bought options. All the options money was gone. There's 50,000. Bam, that's gone. I can't get that back unless the stock suddenly goes up 15 points. Then it hit 20. Then it hit 15. Then it hit 10. Then it hit 9. I was selling all the way down, you know. And all of a sudden, about a year and a half, 2 years later, Grand Casino starts to climb. This is great. I'm really happy. Things are going right. And then it happens. Grand Casinos is going to get bought out. Yes, the stock's at 19. It can't help but go up. They're going to get bought out. Guess what? The stock fell till 17 and a half, and I sold everything. Took a $300,000 loss because I knew if it wasn't going to go up on the company being bought, it was over. And it continued to fall all the way to about 14 or so. And, you know, worst investment in my life. But it's the things you learn along the way. If you're a 7th degree black belt, you'll always have plenty of money from poker. That one hurt. Now you have access. Okay, you're a 7th degree black belt, you know people, you play poker with people, business people at the table. I always had the philosophy, if I was playing in a high-stakes poker game with a businessman, I always had tremendous amount of respect for that businessman. The other players said, oh, he's just a live one, he's just a sucker. Live one? Sucker? This guy just lost $40,000 in the game. It didn't even hurt him. I mean, he's made $5 million, $10 million in business, and the poker players want to call him a live one or sucker? Some of these poker players having, what, $50, $60, $100,000 to their name, needing to win in the game? What? I always thought that was kind of messed up. You know, I respected what these guys have done in the business world. And because of that, I made friends with some of them. One of the things that I did learn was to invest in hedge funds. You know, hedge funds aren't perfect, but if you look at the traditional average of hedge funds, it's, what, 5 or 6 or 7% ahead of every other fund out there. They're hard to get into. You have to know someone. I happen to know the people that were behind the actual investment. I happen to choose Ocean Park Capital as my hedge fund, and they did really well. They were averaging close to 100% a year. I mean, they couldn't even release this stuff because people would think it was a scam. They were averaging 120% a year for 8 years. I put my money in there in late '98, and right away it was the same pace. My money was four-tupled by early 2000. Of course, then things didn't look too well. Still, by 2004, through the worst stock market crash, one of the worst stock market crashes in history, I was still double my money. All the investments I chose wouldn't have done nearly so well, or the other funds I knew wouldn't have done nearly so well. I had some access. I knew the people that were running the fund, and I knew the people that were investing in the fund. I still have some of my money in that fund. The other thing, businesses. It's great, and you'll make a lot of money. I mean, wealth is created in the United States of America, not with big salaries. Let's talk about that. You're making $1 million a year. $1 million a year. That's fantastic. But you live in California, so $500,000 goes to the government. And then, okay, well, yeah, you're a big spender, you like a nice car, whatever. Now you're spending about $250,000, and you have a family and kids, and it's expensive out here in California. So let's just say that you have $225,000 to put away, actually, after tax. You do that for 5, 6 years, That's terrific. You put $1 million away at the 10-year mark, maybe you're worth about $3 million. Or you get lucky with one company and have 2% of it, and it goes to $1 billion in 6 or 7 years, and you have $20 million on the table. What do you do with that $20 million? Well, guess what? You're stuck paying the minimum tax on it. Wealth is created in this world. Up here in Palo Alto, there's a lot of it by people that are having early stage positions in companies. I figured that out early. Now you have access to people as a 7th degree black belt and a successful poker player. You have access to these kind of people, so start looking for some really smart spots to put your money. If you're really after wealth, then look for something like that, early stage companies. Or start your own company. If it's more about the poker, then you can continue to play poker and just invest your money wisely. If it's more about making money, I'll tell you right now, start a company, because that's where the real money is. And if you have the talent to become a 7th degree black belt in poker, you have the talent to move into other industries. We always said that, us poker players. It was never proven until recently when we see guys like Howard Leder become really good businessmen. I've been very lucky in business. Chris Ferguson, all of these great poker players are starting to make fortunes in business because they can turn their mind to it. So if you're a 7th degree black belt, business is somewhere you should turn if you want the real money. In poker, you might make $1 million or $2 million a year, but there's only 10 guys a year that are making that kind of money. Real estate is perfect for poker players too. It's a great balance. Fun. We're starting to buy real estate on the border of Washington and Oregon, just above Portland, because we think that the zero income tax state of Washington, being 45 minutes from the city of Portland, we're going to think there's going to be some big growth there. And there has been some big growth. I lost a lot of money before I figured out how to invest right. And I finally figured out a lot of things. And, some of these lessons are real estate, hedge funds, and most of all, having pieces of businesses that are early stage through people that you know. But don't invest in the business as much as the person. Find the person you know is going to be super successful, who's looking for money, and say, all right, that guy's going to get there. I don't know how he's going to get there, but that guy's going to get there. And I've been very lucky in that I found some people that I thought were going to be very successful. And then I was able to make investments through them. Now I probably have pieces of 9 or 10 different companies. And I continue to invest. And I continue to invest in people.